and welcome to episode number 64 of Knitting Blooms. Today is Saturday, July 21st, and my name is Tina, also known as Bloomingknitter. Welcome to the show, and thanks for joining me today. I think the show is going to be fairly short this week, and maybe next week too, because I can't do much knitting. I got a lot of knitting done this week. Before I had a little accident, and yesterday I was running. Yesterday morning I went out 5:30 in the morning and went for a little bit of a jog, but only got about half a mile down the street, a little bit over half a mile, and I tripped and fell and I injured my shoulder and my elbow, and I don't know if you hear that, that's Steve leaving his motorcycle. Anyway, so I'm going to have limited knitting. I ended up having to go to the ER yesterday morning because the pain was just so bad. It was making just the pain itself, every time I moved my arm, it was making me nauseous. So I did go to the ER. There's no broken bones. They have a little bit of concern about my rotator cuff only because it's hard for me to lift my arm up. I did wear a sling all day yesterday, and I probably will wear it for the next couple of days when I'm moving around the house. When I'm sitting down, my arm is pretty much just resting anyway, so I haven't really felt a need for it. I do have to ice it quite a bit because I have a lot of swelling. I have some bruises on my arm here. I don't think I hurt my elbow. They didn't x-ray my elbow, but now that I look at it, it almost looks worse than my shoulder. But most of the pain is up in my shoulder because I'm pretty sure that I fell on my shoulder. I have some scratches down my arm, and I have a scratch on my knee. But I think I fell on my shoulder the most, although the elbow looks the worst, you know, now that I see it. I haven't really looked at it from this angle, but yeah. So I did a little bit of knitting yesterday, but not too long, because I didn't want to stress the muscles in my forearm and what have you. So today I've done a little bit of stuff around the house, you know, cleaned out the dishwasher and whatnot that I can do with one arm. But I think that this weekend I'm going to be so incredibly bored. In fact, I've already been bored this morning. It's now just a little bit after 12:30, and I've already been bored this morning. I did try and do a little bit of spinning, but right now gripping the fiber with my left hand puts a little bit of stress on my forearm, which causes the pain to kind of just shoot up my arm. So I'm not really thinking that I'm going to get too much done this weekend, but maybe as the days wear on, it will get better. I know that from yesterday morning till this morning, the pain probably diminished by about 50%. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I kept it in the sling all day yesterday and only took it out to do the exercises that the doctor suggested that I do. And I kept it in the sling all day, and I did the required icing about once an hour for 10 minutes or whatever. So I'm hoping that that has helped bring down the pain. Plus I'm on ibuprofen or Motrin for the inflammation. So we'll see how it goes. I would suspect, like I said, that this weekend I probably won't get much done, but hopefully throughout the next week I have more time to knit. So I'm going to get on with my progress. Like I said, I think it's going to be a short show, so we'll just kind of go right into it. I'm going to start with the fact that I did not work on the fornicating reindeer hat. I don't know, I'm just not feeling in love with that project, but more than likely I'm going to try and pick that back up again and get that finished up, because really I think I probably have 8 hours worth of knitting time left in that project, and then it's done. So I know I can, if I had time that I could just knit on it, I could get it done pretty quickly. But I haven't been taking the time. Also, I hope it's not annoying. In fact, I might have to just run upstairs and turn that fan off. We have a whole house fan up in the window up here, and I don't think you would be able to hear it, but, you know, I think I'm going to just run and turn it off just because I hear it, and I don't want you guys to be annoyed by the sound that it's doing right now. So hang tight, and I will be right back. Okay, now we don't have to worry about that sound anymore. I do have the windows open today because it's not that hot. I think it's like 83 degrees, and it's very low humidity. So okay, so I talked about the fornicating reindeer. It probably won't be this week while I'm struggling getting my knitting back in because it is 2-color. And I want to keep, if I'm going to knit, I want to give my left arm a little bit of a break. So I'm not going to be doing any color work this week. But let's talk about the projects that I did work on. I worked on, I'm going to start with this one. I worked on the color Affection, and I almost thought I was at the middle of a row, but I wasn't. And I did work on this for a little bit yesterday. I think I did 1 or 2 rows yesterday, but not that much this week because the rows are getting longer, but it's still very fun to me. So here is the section that I'm working on right now. It's the stripe section, and this is where I stopped last week, and I have done that many rows. Not that many, but like I said, the rows are getting much longer. And I did set the marker over here. Last week I mentioned that I didn't know how many more rows I had, and I figured it out that there's actually how many ridges there's actually supposed to be according to the pattern, and then I marked approximately where I'm supposed to be. So I have, let me show it this way. So I have to this marker that many more ridges. Well, it's not really that many more ridges because there's, you know, you use up 4 stitches for each ridge. But that's how much further I have to go with my stripes before I start the last color, or the last main color or whatever. So yeah, it's coming along. Still looking really cool. I love the colors. This edge, the way that I did it, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's very stretchy and springy, and I think it's going to block real nicely. Although at this moment I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to block. I do think I will block this out a little bit more because this is still humping up a little bit in the center. But we'll see how it goes. If I do knit today, this is probably the project that I'm going to work on because it is just garter stitch and all knits, and I can just keep my left arm kind of just supporting the knitting on the left side, and then I can use my right arm for most of the movement. So that's probably what I'll work on today if I don't try and spin a little bit more. I did try and spin this morning, but I was wearing the sling at the time. So maybe if I try and do it without the sling on and just have my hand resting in my lap, it will be a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes. I'm trying not to overdo it too soon because I know that sometimes that can cause additional damage, so I'm just trying to take it slow and not try to do too much too soon, because I have done that in the past where I just want to get out and be done with an injury, and then I injure it further. They did tell me at the doctor's that I should wear the sling for an entire week. However, I seriously don't think that's going to happen. I'll probably, like I said, wear it when I'm up and about around the house, and we'll see how I feel on Monday. But seriously, I'm hoping that I can be back to running Monday or Tuesday. I know, that's crazy, but when I fell, I was so angry because I was really looking forward to my run yesterday morning. I was actually, I think one of the main reasons that I fell was because I was taking a slightly different route. Now, I had taken this route before, but I haven't taken this route in quite a while. And it was dark when I went out early yesterday morning, and I wasn't paying attention. So, you know, just call me clumsy. That's me, because I don't know, I fallen down the stairs. I can't even count how many times. And I've actually tripped on my runs before, but never fallen. And I think another main reason that I think I ended up actually completing the fall was because at the moment when I fell, on my right hand side there was a like a white picket fence, but it wasn't, it was really just a decorative white picket fence. And when I tripped, I went to grab the fence, and the spindle or whatever, those upright, not the anchor posts between the sections, but the smaller sections, I grabbed it to catch my fall, and it just broke right off. So I think that because that happened, if I had been able to catch myself in that, and if I hadn't happened to be at one of the corner posts that were actually buried in the ground, I don't think I would have fallen all the way. But the fact that I went to grab that and then it broke off, it was such a quick happening that I didn't have time to react further to get my arms out in front of me. So it was crazy. I felt really stupid when I did it, but you know, what am I gonna do? I know I'm kind of a clumsy person. Anyway, let's move on to the summer solstice. And as I put in these side by side, I'm going to show you the two. The Effervesce and the summer solstice are so close in color. They're not the same color though. But here's my summer solstice shawl, and the marker is where I was last week. I have finished the beading, and I started the next section. I haven't gotten very far on the next section yet, but it's coming along, and I am really enjoying this project. I love the bright blue. It is so pretty. I was going to work on this yesterday, but no knitting. I took my knitting bag to work with me. When I went to the ER yesterday morning, Steve was like, I'm going to take you to the doctor. And I'm like, no, he had a seminar, or not a seminar, a ceremony that he had to attend yesterday for some awards, and he needed to be at that ceremony, and I was fine to drive. I mean, it's only a couple miles down the street. It's not like I was driving 20 miles to get to the hospital. So, what was I getting at? I don't remember. Oh, so I took my knitting bag to work. I had Steve put my knitting bag in the car, and then after I got to work, I'm thinking, man, I should have brought my computer, because at least I could do stuff with my right hand. With my computer, I couldn't really do a whole lot of knitting. I did, like I said, I knit one row, but that was it. So I was pretty bored yesterday at work, but I did get caught up on some reading. Anyway, so there's where I am. I don't remember which row I was on the on this chart. I think it's the second chart. I think it's the second chart, and I want to say, I don't even know. I want to say it's like row 11, and I think there's 18 rows in this chart. So again, I'm liking how it's coming along. I love the beads. I'm so glad that I got the beads. So that's coming right along too. Oh, and I'm going to show you, I worked on my Effervesce socks, but look at the colors. Look how close they are. They're two different colors. This is Turquoise Marquis or something to that effect, and this is Neptune. But the colors are so close. This one's more teal, where this one's more blue. So that's where I am on that. And because I'm done with the beads, I can work on this a little bit easier just wherever. I still have my beads in the bag though. So I did work on the Effervesce socks. This is sock number 2. And you will see there's my stitch marker. I have done, I don't know, maybe 20 rows. I think I have about 20 more rows to go before I do the short row heel. And actually, I was a little further up than this, and I had to rip it back. I think it was Thursday. I worked on it for like 3 or 4 rows, and then I accidentally dropped a stitch in the middle of a crossover cable. And I probably could have figured out how to get it pulled back up again, but it was just easier to take out the 3 or 4 rows that I needed to take out. So I took out the rows, I put it back on the needles, and worked it back up again. I think I did like 2 or 3 rows, and then I made another mistake and had to take it back out again. I don't know how I had done it, but somehow I had wrapped the yarn around these back stitches here. So I didn't realize it on this row till I got back around the second time around. So then I had to take it out again. And at that point, it was my clue that that was not the project that I should be working on at that time. So I fixed the mistake. I went back and I fixed that mistake, and then I put it down because it was not the project that I needed to be working on at that time. But hopefully I will be able to get some more progress on these this week. Since it is such delicate work on the size 0s, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done with my arm. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So those are the Effervesce socks, also with Wollmeise. And I also worked on the Inishbeg. So I worked down almost all of my projects this week, except for the Fornicating Reindeer, and I didn't really work on Sock Yarn Blanket, and I didn't make any more preemie hats, but I worked on every other project, which was good. So here is the Inishbeg sweater, and as long as I move my arm slowly, it doesn't hurt as much. So you'll see the marker there in the center on the cables, and this is how much I've done. There's the bottom. So I did about as much as I had done the first week when I was working on it, and then I ran out of yarn at the office. And the first day, I told myself, okay, I gotta wind some more yarn, and then I came home and I forgot. And then the second day, I set a reminder on my phone to remind me when I got home to wind some yarn. And I did wind the yarn, but then I just didn't feel like working on that project the next day when I finally had the yarn in my bag. So there's my progress so far. I love the cable. I'm not too thrilled. Let me see if I can hold it like this. I'm not too thrilled with the fact that the cables, it's kind of hard. The cables, you'll see how the center section where the cables are it kind of comes down a little bit versus the seed stitch, but I'm hoping that when I block it, I can stretch that seed stitch so it comes down a bit. However, I'm pretty sure that the picture with the pattern is like that as well. So I'll either have to block it out severely, or I'll have to live with it. So I don't know if I will be working on this project this weekend because it is a Aran weight wool sweater, and we don't have our AC yet. That's next Wednesday, which brings me to the other fact that Steve is saying I've created a conspiracy because I didn't want to do any more work around the house. I fell because I didn't want to do any more work around the house, and I actually feel really bad about it because he's left to do the final things by himself, or mostly by himself, because I can't really lift anything or do a whole lot. I can stand there and hand him things, but that's about it. But I feel bad because I can't help him. But we did do most of it. I mean, it was almost completely done already. He did this morning take out the final pipe, the baseboard boiler heat pipe from the kitchen. And I think he was just leaving to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or something to go and get some piping for a new gas line. So and that really doesn't have to be done, but if he decides he wants to do it, he'll have that opportunity. And then there's just a couple other miscellaneous things that we have to get done, but I can pretty much do those things like cleaning out specific closets so that they can get in there and work. And I think that's about it. Clean out 2 different closets. We do have to kind of move the furniture around a little bit just to kind of give them more room down in the basement to work. And Steve has to cut out the portion of the deck where the AC unit's going to go. But they're all small projects, so really I'm glad that my accident happened well after the work that needed to be done. So those were my knitting projects. Again, I don't know how much knitting I'm going to get done this week, but we'll just have to wait and see next week. I did do some spinning, and I'm not going to be able to show you the bobbins because they are on the wheels, and I didn't want to take them off of the wheels, and I cannot hoist the wheel up. There's no possible way that I'm going to hoist the wheel up to show you, because I know that will get me injured. So I took a picture, and I will put a picture up of what I'm working on. I'm working on the fiber optic. Last week I showed you the braid, and here is the braid, and I have kept it mostly in the braid. I've just pulled out the bit that I need. So I think I only did 1 color since last week, maybe 2. It just amazes me how she gets these colors to just blend right into one another. So I think that there was like a tealy greenish blue before this, and then another brighter blue, and then this, and then now it's getting to be more purple. So I'm hoping that I can start spinning today. Like I said, this is the one that I spun this morning and for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and was feeling that I was a little bit too sore. But that was, I think, before I actually took some Advil, or maybe I had only taken 2 Advils versus like 3. I think 3 or 4 they've recommended 6 or 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. So I think after that I ended up taking another pill, but we'll see how it goes. I think I'll be able to spin more easily than I will be able to knit, so there might be more spinning content than there is knitting content, although both are going to be slow progress. So this is what I have left. I did not weigh it this week to tell you how much it was left, but it's I would guess that it's about half on the bobbin. So I'm thinking that I have about a little bit less than half to go. And last week I mentioned that I've only been using 1 wheel at a time, and then I decided to start the alpaca, and that is on the ladybug. And so I also took a picture of that, and we'll show you that on the bobbin. But I will show you the alpaca here. And this is the alpaca that I got from the alpaca farm at Knittopia. When we went to the alpaca farm at Knittopia, I bought a pound of alpaca. And I want to spin it up and then knit it, or save some of the fiber or some of the yarn to give away as a prize. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I have decided that I'm going to 2-ply it. And I thought I had some samples. Yep, here they are. I did take a couple of samples of the fiber just to see what I liked. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. This is the first one that I didn't really like. But there's a couple of samples. Now there is 2 samples here that are 2-ply and 1 that is 3-ply. And okay, so hopefully the camera will focus. So the one in the center is the 3-ply, and the one on the 2 on the outsides is the 2 that are 2-plied. And you'll see that they are almost identical in girth, in width, which is why I think I've decided that I'm only going to do a 2-ply. I do like the look of the 3-ply because a 3-ply makes, excuse me, a 3-ply makes a more rounder yarn. Am I in your way? Can you sit on my lap over here instead of trying to sit on everything else? Crazy girl. This would be Sammy. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to do a 2-ply because it's going to be about the same weight in yarn, I'm thinking, if I did a 3-ply. Because I think when you add an extra ply, the weight of the yarn only goes up a little bit. But it is spinning out quite thin, and I can get a lot more yardage if I do a 2-ply versus a 3-ply. So I am enjoying it somewhat. I do have to admit that this is my words, they're not coming out. This is processed. However, I don't know if it's just the alpaca or if it's the way it was processed, but I'm finding a lot of bits that are not felted, but clumped up where I have to really pay attention to get them out. And I like a nice smooth yarn, so I'm kind of going out of my comfort zone a little bit because I am getting a little bit of nubbiness to the yarn, to the singles. But the fiber is so soft. It is so incredibly soft that I'm just going to continue to spin it up, and hopefully when it's made into yarn, I will love it. It's just hard because I'm so used to the commercial top, and it's just hard for me to get out of my comfort zone. Although I really do need to start doing that more, is get out of my comfort zone. Because I'm going to end up spinning the same thing all of the time if I don't. So, but that's about it. Tour de Fleece runs, I think it's till next. I'm going to see if I can, Sammy is laying here with all of the stuff. I'll have to see if I can take a picture of her so you can see how cute she is. I'll try and get up and take a picture of her before she gets up. Anyway, Tour de Fleece, I think runs till next Friday. That's the 27th, and still continue to post in the thread every single day with what you're working on. I am really enjoying seeing what everybody is working on. It is so fun to see what everybody's working on, and I had an itch, but my arm doesn't want to go there. And then it's fun even further to see things that people are spinning that I also have, like the Starling and the Friends and Fiber and stuff like that. And then just seeing just the massive amounts of spinning that have been happening. So it's very cool to see what everybody's working on and, you know, their progress and everything. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. You know, you got one more week for prizes. I do have another prize coming this week, I hope, for the Tour de Fleece. One of the viewers has said that they have a prize that they would like to put into the Tour de Fleece pot. So there will be 4 prizes. So keep those pictures coming. I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, like I said, this is a short show because other than my injury, there wasn't really a whole lot of stuff that happened this week. That was the big adventure of the week was my injury, and I hope it's not the biggest thing next week because I'd like it to be better. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a great week, and I hope your knitting blooms this week. Bye.